What if the one person everyone thought would stay loyal to Kody and Robyn secretly reached out to Christine behind the scenes? Fans are spotting clues, and the truth might change everything about the Brown family story. But before we uncover what really happened, make sure you hit subscribe, because this channel brings you the drama, stories, and secrets everyone else misses. When Christine smiles, the whole world seems to smile with her. That smile has become a symbol of freedom and a quiet declaration that life after heartbreak can still shine brighter than before. Ever since she left the quiet tension of Flagstaff and stepped into a new chapter of independence, her energy has felt different, lighter, stronger, almost like someone who finally stepped out of a shadow that had followed her for years. But behind that bright glow of independence, there is a lingering question echoing through the walls of the Brown family legacy. Is someone still trapped in the cold silence of the mansion, missing the warmth she once brought into their lives? Rumors have begun spreading through fan circles and online communities, whispers that something unexpected may be happening behind the scenes, something that could shake the entire structure of the family dynamic that once revolves around Kody and Robyn. According to several curious reports, a vehicle strikingly similar to one often used by the older Brown daughters was recently seen driving through a quiet Utah neighborhood not far from Christine's new home. At first, the sighting seemed like nothing more than coincidence, another curious fan story. But the more people began discussing it, the more one name kept appearing in the conversation: Aurora, the daughter who for years seemed to represent the perfect loyal child within Robyn world. Aurora, who rarely questioned authority, who followed the family rules with quiet obedience, and who always appeared to stand firmly beside her mother and Kody in every emotional storm. But the idea of Aurora appearing anywhere near Christine's peaceful new life raises a question that no one inside the Brown circle ever expected to ask. Why would Aurora, the daughter most closely aligned with Robyn, step anywhere near the woman her mother believes dismantled the family? Did she simply drive past out of curiosity, or could there be something deeper unfolding beneath the surface? Perhaps something far more personal than anyone imagined. To understand why this rumor has ignited so much fascination, we need to look back at the complicated emotional landscape that defined the Brown family for years. Long before the tears, the separations, and the quiet departures, there was a time when the family appeared united, living in the famous cul-de-sac homes in Las Vegas, where each wife had her own house, yet the children moved freely between them, creating the feeling of one giant blended household. During those years, Christine played a unique role within the family. She was often described by the children as the fun mom, the one who planned celebrations, filled the kitchen with laughter, and made holidays feel magical. She organized parties, created traditions, and built an atmosphere where the kids felt safe to be themselves. Even the children who were not biologically hers felt drawn to that warmth. Aurora experienced those years too. She saw Christine dancing in the kitchen, laughing with the kids, and turning ordinary evenings into joyful memories. And memories like that do not simply disappear because the adults later argue about loyalty or betrayal. A child remembers how someone made them feel, and sometimes those emotional memories remain stronger than any narrative created afterward. Fast forward to the present, and the emotional environment surrounding Aurora looks far different. The household she lives in now feels far more tense than the vibrant chaos of the Vegas years. Kody's frustration with the family fractures has grown increasingly visible. His anger over broken loyalty and failed expectations often spills into conversations, leaving an atmosphere heavy with resentment. Robyn, on the other hand, carries a constant sense of sorrow, frequently revisiting the dream she once had of a united plural family sitting together on a shared porch, watching generations grow together. That dream has faded, leaving behind a sense of loss that seems to color every conversation within the house. For a young woman like Aurora, this environment can feel suffocating, a place where emotional pressure lingers in every corner. Meanwhile, the world outside that house tells a completely different story. When Aurora opens her phone, she sees images of Christine smiling while cooking, traveling, laughing with friends, and sharing moments with the man who has become her new partner, David Woolley. Those photos show a version of life filled with energy, possibility, and genuine affection. David's presence adds an entirely new dimension to the picture. He appears calm, steady, supportive, a man who does not compete for attention, but quietly stands beside Christine, encouraging her happiness. For someone raised in the unpredictable emotional environment of the Brown family, seeing that kind of stable affection can feel both confusing and eye-opening. Aurora may begin to question the lessons she grew up hearing about relationships, about loyalty, about what love is supposed to look like, because what she sees on her screen contradicts the narrative she has always been told, that leaving Kody would lead to loneliness, struggle, and regret. Instead, the woman who left seems happier than ever, and that contradiction plants a powerful seed of curiosity. Curiosity leads to questions, and questions often lead to quiet exploration, which brings us back to the mysterious car sighting in Utah. If Aurora truly drove anywhere near Christine's new home, the action itself would represent a significant step for someone who has spent years living under careful emotional guidance from her mother. The simple act of driving across state lines would suggest a moment of independence, a decision made without permission, without reassurance, and perhaps without anyone inside the house even knowing where she went. Imagine the internal dialogue that might have taken place during that drive. A young woman sitting behind the wheel, watching the road stretch forward, wondering whether she is about to cross an invisible boundary created by years of family tension. Perhaps her heart beats faster as she approaches the neighborhood. Perhaps she wonders what she would say if she actually knocked on the door. Would Christine welcome her? Would the past arguments vanish in the presence of genuine care? Or would the weight of family conflict make such a meeting impossible? No one knows exactly what happened that day, but the possibility alone reveals something fascinating about human relationships. Even in families divided by conflict, emotional bonds rarely disappear entirely. They simply wait quietly beneath the surface for the right moment to rise again. And that moment may be approaching for Aurora, who now stands at an age where independence naturally begins to call louder than obedience. Young adults eventually face the challenge of defining themselves outside the expectations placed upon them by their parents. They begin to ask difficult questions about identity, loyalty, and personal happiness. And when those questions arise, memories often return. Memories of laughter, kindness, and comfort. Christine's presence in Aurora's childhood represented many of those feelings, which is why the thought of reconnecting with her does not seem as impossible as it once did. In fact, it may feel like returning to a place that always felt safe. Another layer of this unfolding story involves the influence of modern technology. Unlike previous generations who could only rely on physical meetings, today, young adults can explore connections quietly through social media messages, disappearing chats, and private conversations hidden behind digital screens. It is entirely possible that curiosity about Christine's life began with something as simple as viewing a photo or reading a comment. Perhaps Aurora saw Christine laughing in a video or cooking dinner while sharing a joyful story about her new life. And in that moment, the image may have clashed with the darker narrative she had always heard about Christine. Perhaps that moment sparked a silent realization that the world outside the family walls might not be as dangerous or hostile as she had been taught to believe. Curiosity grows stronger each time it is fed by new information, and soon the idea of reaching out no longer feels impossible. It begins with small steps, maybe liking a post, maybe reading comments, maybe imagining what it would feel like to simply say hello. These tiny moments build momentum until eventually a young person finds themselves standing at the edge of a decision, the decision to reconnect with someone who once played a meaningful role in their life. If Aurora truly reached that point, the emotional complexity surrounding her would be enormous. On one side stands the loyalty she feels toward her mother, who has spent years protecting her from perceived threats and guiding her through emotional challenges. On the other side stands the quiet memory of a woman who once filled her childhood with laughter and warmth. Choosing between those emotional worlds would not be easy, and perhaps that is why the idea of a silent drive past Christine's home resonates so strongly with fans. It represents hesitation, curiosity, and the first fragile step toward independence. Rather than a dramatic confrontation, the image of a car slowly passing a familiar house suggests something more subtle. A young woman testing the boundaries of her own courage, wondering whether she is ready to step beyond the expectations that have shaped her life for so long. In stories of personal transformation, these quiet moments often matter more than the dramatic ones because they reveal the internal shift happening beneath the surface. Aurora may still appear loyal, obedient, and calm on the outside, yet inside her mind, new possibilities could be forming. Possibilities that challenge everything she once believed about family, loyalty, and personal freedom. And if those possibilities continue growing, they may eventually lead to conversations, meetings, and choices that redefine the future of the Brown family forever. As the quiet rumors continue to spread through fan communities and curious observers begin connecting scattered pieces of information, the possibility of Aurora exploring a path toward Christine becomes more fascinating than anyone inside the Brown family may realize, because this is not simply a story about one daughter visiting a former stepmother. It is a story about identity, about the complicated emotional bridges that remain long after adults decide to walk away from each other. Aurora has spent most of her life surrounded by a narrative carefully shaped within the walls of her home, a narrative about loyalty, sacrifice, and the belief that family unity depended entirely on obedience to the system created by Kody and supported by Robyn. For years, she watched the family structure slowly fracture, first with emotional distance, then with physical separation as wives began leaving one by one. Christine's departure came first, and it was the moment that seemed to shake the foundation of everything Aurora had been taught. Because Christine did not simply walk away quietly, she stepped into a completely new life, filled with laughter, independence, and visible joy. And that transformation contradicted everything the family structure had predicted about what would happen to a wife who chose freedom over loyalty. From Aurora's perspective, the change must have been confusing. One day, Christine was part of the family circle, organizing dinners, celebrating birthdays, and filling the house with energy. And the next day, she was gone, replaced by tense conversations, whispers of betrayal, and the heavy feeling that something important had been lost. In the months that followed, Aurora likely heard countless explanations about why Christine's decision had damaged the family, about how leaving meant abandoning the shared dream, and about how loyalty should always come before personal happiness. But the world outside the Brown home kept presenting a completely different image. Through photos, videos, and interviews, Christine looked happier than ever. She laughed more freely, traveled more often, and built a new relationship with a man who seemed genuinely supportive and calm. That man, David Woolley, brought a sense of balance to Christine's life that many viewers quickly noticed. He was not loud or controlling, he did not dominate conversations or compete for emotional attention. Instead, he appeared to stand beside Christine, quietly encouraging her confidence and celebrating her independence. For someone like Aurora, who grew up in a household where emotional tension sometimes filled the air, witnessing that kind of calm relationship could feel both unfamiliar and deeply intriguing. It might lead her to ask silent questions about what love and partnership are supposed to feel like. Those questions do not disappear easily. Once they appear in a young person's mind, they grow stronger with time, especially when reinforced by repeated images of happiness from someone who was once described as the reason the family collapsed. Imagine Aurora sitting alone in her room, scrolling through her phone late at night, watching clips of Christine dancing in the kitchen, laughing with her children, and sharing affectionate moments with David. The contrast between that peaceful, joyful environment and the heavy, emotional atmosphere inside her own house might feel impossible to ignore. Eventually, curiosity becomes stronger than fear, and curiosity has a way of pushing people toward exploration. Sometimes that exploration begins with something as simple as driving past a familiar place, a quiet moment where no one else needs to know what you're thinking or feeling. If the rumor about the car in Utah holds even a fragment of truth, the drive itself would represent a powerful step for Aurora, a moment when she allowed her own curiosity to guide her actions instead of following the expectations placed upon her by family tradition. The road between Flagstaff and Utah is long enough to give someone plenty of time to think and imagine the possibilities that might await at the end of the journey. Perhaps Aurora pictured the house she had seen in photographs. Perhaps she imagined Christine opening the door with that warm, welcoming smile, the same smile that once made family gatherings feel safe and joyful. Perhaps she wondered whether years of silence could dissolve in a single conversation, or whether the past would stand between them like an invisible wall. But even the act of imagining those possibilities shows that something inside Aurora may be changing, because children who grow into adulthood eventually begin examining the stories they were told during childhood. They start comparing those stories with their own memories and experiences, and when contradictions appear, the search for truth begins. This search is not about rebellion or disrespect. It is about personal growth and understanding who you truly are outside the expectations of others. Aurora may still deeply love her mother and respect the life Robyn tried to build, but love does not prevent curiosity, and respect does. A reminder that family relationships are not defined only by the choices of parents, but also by the courage of children who grow up and decide to build bridges where walls once stood. And if that bridge begins with a single quiet visit, a hesitant knock on a familiar door, and a conversation filled with emotion, forgiveness, and understanding, then the story of Aurora and Christine might become one of the most surprising and hopeful chapters in the entire Brown family saga. Because sometimes the most meaningful changes do not arrive through dramatic confrontations or public declarations. They arrive quietly, through the simple human desire to reconnect with someone who once made you feel safe, loved, and understood. And if these rumors are even partly true, it could be the moment the entire Brown family power dynamic finally collapses, because once one person finds the courage to break free, the rest may follow. But what do you think? Is Aurora really reaching out to Christine, or is something bigger happening behind the scenes? Comment your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe, because this channel uncovers the stories reality TV doesn't want you to see.